Okay, the second part that I have to point out is as far as anything like this is concerned, do not introduce or create new characters that was never in the original property, that wasn't in the comic book. This goes especially for comic books and cartoons. Never introduce characters that was not in the original stuff. There's some exceptions, but a lot of times it just does not work well. It doesn't. You do not want to introduce completely new characters, you know, when you're doing something based off of, especially when it's characters that never had anything to do with the property. Do not do that, because you completely mess up stuff. You know, like I said, there are exceptions to the rule. Sorry, my wristbands are like really, there are exceptions to the rule, but all in all, that's something you don't want to do. You don't want to sit there and bring in completely new characters that is basically you just pulled a character out your ass just to put them in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Best example is a new movie coming out called The Smurfs. The Smurfs has a character called Gutsy Smurf. And I don't know what they were thinking, but I'm gonna point this out. I grew up in the 80s. I was a little kid during that time, and I used to watch this cartoon. And I know from watching it from so many seasons, because I was a little kid, so don't give me crap for that. I was a small child. I'm pointing this out. The best, there was no Gutsy Smurf in the original cartoon. None. You know, you had Brawny, and then there was another one that was a carpenter, but there was no Gutsy Smurf. There was no Scottish Smurf that was wearing the kilt, that talks like Sean Connery, or talks like a stereotypical Scottish guy. It was just, what the fuck? You know, it's one of the reasons why I have a feeling the Smurfs movie is going to suck so bad. And it's just because I like the Smurfs. I have respect for the property. And it's just from what I've seen in the commercials, the movie is going to be terrible. And I'm about to get to my next point. Okay. My next point has to go with my next point had to go, I'm sorry, I'm having an issue with sinuses. My next point has to do with this. This goes back to the 80s with the movie Masters of the Universe, even to now with the Smurfs, you know, and several others in between. And it's something that really, really ticks me off, because it's another thing that can make a movie god awful. And the biggest point that I have to point out: when you do a science fiction, comic book, cartoon, or video game based movie that is based, like, that's over in another world, universe, you know, different culture, different people, different race, do not, on any circumstance, try to bring the characters from that other world. If this never happened, never try to bring characters from this other world to Earth, because you want to feel that it connects somehow to this planet. You don't want to do that. That irritates me. You know, like Masters of the Universe, you know, He-Man and all those characters are based on Eternia. Why, when they made the movie, it's like as a little kid I was like, I love it because I didn't really care. Now, as I see it, it's awful because, you know, one, it's supposed to be an Eternia. If I was to redo Masters of the Universe or do another He-Man movie, it would be completely on Eternia. I would have never did nothing to where it went to Earth. And then add like human characters from Earth to interact with Eternians and stuff like that, to try to relate to people from Earth because they want to bring in new fans as well as the originals. Hollywood's on crack half the time, because some of the things they think of is completely stupid. And like with the current movie, The Smurfs. And, you know, another part of that is never make a character a race that they're not. You know. Now with the Smurfs in a different universe, different time, different place. Why you had to put it in modern day New York, I don't know. If I was to make a Smurfs movie, it would have been where it was supposed to. In their world, their universe. Because it was set in like a medieval time type thing. Why you want to put it in modern day New York is beyond me. Because Smurfs actually, when you look at it, it's set up in like, kind of like King Arthur, Lord of the Rings or whatnot type of universe. Where there's knights and sorcerers and wizards, you know, and magical creatures and blah 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 blah. All that. Do not put it in modern day Earth, modern day New York. Whatever you want to put it, don't do that. You know, as far as the Smurfs movie, I'm not going to see it because I have a strong feeling, really strong feeling that it's going to be a terrible movie. Like, really terrible. God awful terrible. I know it's not going to top the box office because I have a strong feeling that it's not. If it does, I'm going to be surprised. Like, I have a feeling that it's going to flop really bad. You know, because it's just awful. Because it's going to be the first few fans, the first people that know Smurfs go see this. And they're going to be like, that's awful. And they're going to tell everybody else. And they're going to rant about it. More people's not going to want to see it. And even more. There's already probably a few people that don't want to see it now. You know, when it comes to stuff like this, you have to appease the original fans while trying to bring in new ones. That's the whole purpose, your whole game plan when you're making a movie based off of a comic book, video game, anime, cartoon, or science fiction. And it's something I'm probably going to catch flack for. Dragon Ball Evolution, another thing that really ticked me off is that never change the race of a character for whatever reason. Do not do that. This movie flopped so bad because it pissed off not only original fans, but a lot of Asians. Because number one, why would you have a white guy play a character named Goku? And if you had to pick a white guy, why did you pick the one that you picked? You know, I'm not racist towards white people. I'm actually part Irish. But the thing is, it's just really just stupid. Piccolo was all wrong. I mean, all respect to James Marsters, but he just wasn't right for the role. You know what I'm saying? He was too small. He was too small and just was not right for the role. And there's a few other characters that was just off key. Like, it was just off. It's like the main one was Goku. Like, it pissed off so many people. You know, more than just original fans. That's why that movie flopped it failed so badly. That's something you just need not to do, Hollywood. Like, you know, there's a point so far. Don't change anything. Do not deviate from the original storyline. Don't. Do not completely deviate from the original storyline. Do not change it. You don't want to alienate original fans. You don't. Because they're the ones that's going to make or break your movie. We're the ones that's going to be the one that's going to tell people whether it's worth seeing or not. There's only exceptions to the rule, like Transformers. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, even though there were people that said it sucked, it still made a lot of money because it was Transformers. And even though, yeah, I'll admit there were some things wrong with the movie, it still was close to the original cartoon. When you think about it storyline wise and some of the characterizations. And it's the thing you could tell that the people that worked on the movies, on the Transformers movies, knows the property well. And there was no deviation. Another thing is, do not, when something is set in another universe, do not. Well, here's the second point. The second point is, don't ever introduce somebody that does not belong in the movie. If they weren't in the original characters, do not introduce that person in the movie. Don't. Because it pisses all of us off. Completely. The third one is, do not sit there and try to change the race of a character. Don't try to put something from another world on Earth, or, you know, don't change the species of a character or sex or sexual orientation of the character. Don't do that, because it goes with deviating from the original property. It pisses us off. Okay? It does. It severely pisses us off. That's like 3 of the points right there, and I have some more.